So go with me to Genesis. Now we're talking about love and lust stories of the Bible. And so go with me to Genesis 3. Now, this is the first time that the lust was introduced into the picture with Adam and Eve. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 7. And it says, the serpent was more crafty, subtle, skilled in deceit than any living creature of the field which the Lord God made. And the serpent, Satan, said to the woman, can it really be that God said? Can it really be that God said, you should not eat from any tree of the garden? That ain't what God said. See, he already started to put those little seeds of doubts in there. And the woman said, we may eat from the trees of the garden, except for the tree which is in the middle of the garden. God said, you shall not eat from it nor touch it, otherwise you will die. But the serpent said to the woman, you certainly will not die. For God knows, now listen to this. For God knows that on the day that you eat from it, your eyes will be open. That is, you will have a greater awareness and you will be like God, knowing the difference from good and evil. So let's stop right there. The enemy is now convincing her that the day that she eats, she ain't gonna die. But she's going to know the difference between good and evil. So he planted in Eve's mind that God was holding something back. So what begins to happen? This is where the lust part come in. So after he done planted this seed of doubt in her, then lust began, lust began to rise up in her. And this is what she did. It says, and when the woman saw, lust of the eyes. When the woman saw, she began to look at that fruit in a whole different way. That the tree was good for food and that it was delightful to look at. She began to study that thing all along. She began to see it at a whole different perspective. And the tree to be desired in order to make one wise and insightful, she took some of the fruit and ate it. Now, all of this time, she's in the garden. God done told her, don't eat of the tree. So she didn't. And then the serpent comes on in the picture with his lies and his deceit. And he got a hold of her mind. And when he got a hold of her mind, she began to contemplate and ponder that thing. Oh, it does look good. You know, so many times the enemy can trip us up because the things that God has told us to stay away from, the things that he's told us not to do, he begins to convince us, oh, it ain't gonna hurt you. You surely won't die. It's good for you. Look at it. Don't you want to feel good? And so he tempts us. He plants those seeds. And then we begin to say, oh, yeah, just like Eve. It ain't that bad. Oh, it is going to make me feel good. Come on. And so then we end up giving into that thing. Just like Eve, she took it and she ate it. And not only did she eat it, and she also gave some to her husband with her and he ate. So she drew her husband into that sin.